Hey pals, what's happening? Daily Bitcoin analysis. We have commenced a brand new work week and the small coin is currently edging closer to the significant $72,000 milestone in real time. Today we will discuss many topics. Hey friend, let's talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a bit about the stock market. We will definitely cover some altcoins and of course meme coins, which we cannot overlook today. Let's go to the charts, my loved ones. Make sure to like this video. Well, now let's go to the graphs. Guys, so now we can finally talk about the fact that the homies didn't just update, but they already updated. Because Bitcoin continues to grow, and accordingly, we now have a question with you. I hope nobody is wondering where the hell to open long positions, although I am sure that is exactly what many people are doing. But nevertheless, in my opinion, we should be asking ourselves where to open long positions and how far we can grow together as a community. All right, let's get started with this, then we'll go through everything else as promised, and the review will be quite thorough. All right, guys, listen up. You got to understand that right now we've hit a historical high together. And if in normal mode you see what we have when we, let's say, not at the maximum, but we are growing, we have formed some level here, some other level, then high, then we fell down, and here we are actually going up with you. At each level, we will have some resistance zones, some highs, some volume zones. And when we come to them, we will understand, okay, that's it. If we break through it, the next target will open up in this range. Next, if we break through this one, the next target, let's say, opens up for us in this range. So for us, everything is clear with you. When are we going to update our historical maximum together? Let's do it right on this same example. So we've gone through all these levels together and hit a historical high in this area. We don't have any volumetric levels on top. And here, essentially, the movement happens a little bit differently. You know what I mean? What's the first thing happening with us? Let's get back to the graphics right now. Every time liquidity is withdrawn, that is, there is an update of some new local high. You know, we had our first high here, then we took some liquidity and upgraded to the second high. Now we need a third historical high in a week. What's going on with us? Every time this little candle appears, that is an updated high, after we reach this peak, we have a zone with stops forming on top. So every time we update the high, someone starts messing with it. So locally, it turns out to be right. And here we have a shelf with stops forming, which acts as a certain magnet zone for us. After that, the price bounced around, jostled, and bam, we took this shelf off with you, of course. Now, for example, in real-time mode, we have reached the mark of $72,000 together. Right now, at this moment in time, we're starting to see some footprints and liquidations forming right here. So when many players come, they start opening charter positions here. And the longer we stand here with you, let's say if we quickly roll back like this and go up, we'll hit a very small number of stops. But if we, let's say, go down, we'll stand somewhere here on the sidelines, just standing. Then here we'll have more and more stops and liquidations forming because players will believe that there won't be any growth. There will be a correction. Accordingly, this zone, on the contrary, will act on the one hand as a certain resistance for us, on the other hand as a certain magnet, the removal of which allows us to move higher. So right now we're starting to stop relying on the fact that there are some voluminous, strong levels above us. They ain't here. That's it. Historical record. And we essentially are, by the way, an indicator. I don't have it set up right now. I don't really use it, but I know that many people use it, which shows stops. You can add it yourself. I'll write to you later about what it's called in Telegram. It shows exactly the stop zones. Usually when these movements happen, we form these shelves based on Bitcoin, specifically based on the movement every $1.5 to $2,000. So like it's just based on psychology, you know, like someone put a stop right here for the high, someone a little further, someone even further. And accordingly, now we will have such movements of about $1,000, about $2 with growth, with a positive market sentiment. We took a little break, stood for another 1,000 at 2, another 1,000 at 2. When can we make a U-turn? When can we experience a backlash? The reverse reaction is such that either someone will begin pouring a glass very actively, this typically occurs in response to negative news, or a rare and unexpected event known as a black swan. In the classic simple mode, at this very moment in our presence, on the contrary, positivity is just beginning to grow and develop. I specifically showed you, remember, the Bitcoin index chart so that we have the whole history. Let's refresh once again, guys. Let's go over what happened here in the previous cycle. When we hit a historical high, I don't know, the camera didn't capture it, but when we hit a historical high, we pushed, and as soon as we broke through, we skyrocketed and kept growing until we reached, let's measure again, 112% of the historical high before the first somewhat coherent correction on the weekly time frame. We need to remember all these details for a comprehensive analysis. So in my view, it does not make any sense at this moment to even attempt to speculate when all this hustle and bustle will come to an end. On the contrary, you must understand something. How much time until the halving? About 42 days, I believe, or something similar. Halving will definitely become an interesting point for us. But for now, we just have to wait and catch long positions. Let's discuss where you can currently observe the entry points in the lawn locally right now at this very moment. Before we get started, guys, a traditional reminder, but an important one. If you're going to trade, always trade on a top-notch exchange with a top-notch instrument that won't let you down, that always performs flawlessly. For me, it's Bybit. Me, my team, all my partners trade on Bybit. So if you don't have an account on Bybit, I strongly advise you to sign up and give it a try. Assist with the link in my promo code below this video right here. Best terms for commissions and up to $30K in bonuses on first deposit. So make sure to stop by, haggle for a couple of days, and you'll understand why we love this exchange. Let's move on. All right, let's start. Positions on the 4HR chart. We have zones exactly 69, 200. When rolling back at this spot, you will be able to see, well, long positions. Now we have something else that lies ahead of us. I still don't want to go to the small time frame right now, but on the small time frame, because we have a lot of levels formed on the hourly chart, check both sides. So here's the deal. There's this area, like right here, and these guys, like they're all in it. It's a 66K zone. Then we continue, of course. This is zone 62, 63, and even lower is zone 60, 61. This is the local spot where you can examine long positions. Below this lawyer, which is positioned in the range of $59,000, I have no desire to leave. I want to stay here and explore the opportunities available at this spot. Because there could be a specific bottleneck ahead. Because right here is where we've got this zone all concentrated. This is a massive stop zone for long positions. So if by any chance there's some squeeze lower than this, we could roll all the way down to $52,000. But the key thing, I constantly say this and want to remind you again, while we are above this level with you, let's mark it with an arrow. This is the level of $51.50 thousand. While we are above it, there can't even be any talk of shorts. In my opinion, if someone disagrees with me and thinks that we have reached a little bit of our maximum and need to short, write about it in the comments, but try to argue. In any case, it will be interesting to read, but for now, let's stick to the rule of trading with the trend. So this is about Bitochka, okay? Now let's move on. I'll briefly open up about the S&P 500 because last week we had Powell speaking, blabbering away as usual. I've written down a couple of theses for you that I want to share with the guys, just so you have a clear understanding in your head. The main point is that his primary concept, which he stated, is that we have reached a phase of high stakes, and that in general, the Federal Reserve does not intend to decrease interest rates until we observe a 2% inflation rate. Next, here's the next thing. He said a cool phrase that the pandemic marked a transition from a world with low interest rates and low inflation. What's the point of all this talk? This is to say that overall, in my opinion, they acknowledge that the rates cannot be lowered and the economy will continue to operate at high rates in the current realities for a long time. Overall, we're accepting and understanding all of this. Here you go. About the recession, they said no risk of a recession right now. So guys, the same thing is happening with S&P. It just keeps flying. As a key indicator, in my opinion, it's like with Bitcoin. We have a zone of $48,000 and below $38,000, which is the 200-day moving average. We've got a key zone on the S&P 500. In my opinion, it's the $4,600 zone. While we're above this zone, we don't give a damn. We're still looking long. If the S&P 500 drops below $4,600, then the situation here will definitely not be very good. However, at present, it seems that the children are completely uninterested in it. Naturally, a highly unlikely event could occur at any time, but it is akin to being fearful of wolves and avoiding the forest. Or, as they express it in this locale in a revised rendition of the jest, my apologies for the indelicate humor, it is akin to being fearful of teeth and refraining from opening one's mouth. So, this is basically what we're talking about. I apologize for my French, but I really like the joke about the modern performance of wolves. So there's no point in expecting something again based on the dollar index. Look at the prerequisites for further growth in the near future. The index has been in this range for a long time now, as you can see. Please take a look. We are currently at the level of 102.7. Overall, the movement is kind of a downward local one. And we have level 100 right here, where the index is currently heading. And when the index is heading down, all other assets tend to go up in relation to it. So this is just another wake-up call for at least local growth to continue. I think it's clear. Whoever gets it, my loved ones, it's the usual deal, like comment from you. I'm checking the latest topics, guys. On every episode, there are 2,000 likes. Guys, my heart is just melting. I can't even put it into words for you. Thank you so much for this, seriously. Thanks to everyone who's watching, supporting, liking, commenting, and giving likes. Even if you're a hater, you still write me shitty comments. Thanks a lot to you for that anyway. All right, a couple more things. Let's proceed for a leisurely stroll. Behold, at the salon that our gaze is presently fixated on, capturing our undivided attention at this very moment in time. I was shooting a review when I was shooting it on Saturday, I think. Remember, I said that if we hold above level 141, you can look for long entry points here. Please take a look. We are getting closer with you. Overall, it's not a bad spot to check out the positions in the parking lot area. When might it not work? Well, in the event that Bitcoin undergoes a substantial decline, obviously Solana will most likely undergo a decline along with it. But if the little guy still stands on the sidelines or even looks somewhere higher, let's you and me mark the goals according to Solana. The nearest goal is located right here, right at our place. And then it's the next high, right here. And this movement goes all the way to the nearest target of 22%, up to the upper target of 36 to 37%. So Solana has a lot of potential. The main thing is for the little guy not to sneeze too hard. Let's keep going. Ethereum is valuable to us. Just so you are aware, the broadcast on SME has already commenced and is currently in progress. 4,050. On futures, it's lagging a bit for now, but on air, we have Ether, a coin that lags behind Bitcoin at the moment. So it just happened like that for us. That's why the broadcast is catching up. The closest goal, guys, honestly, I just don't mess around and put it around the historical maximum. This is for a 20% growth spurt. Accordingly, all the coins in the Ethereum ecosystem also have a pretty decent potential. So we're actually watching, by the way, folks, who's selling what right now? What coins? Share in the comments. It'll be interesting to see, to read. Actually, it's intriguing to hear your take on who's talking the talk in programming and who's shaking up the market. Please additionally write, it is very interesting to know what is happening with us. It is always interesting to read the opinion of the mass retail. Okay guys, let's continue moving. I will direct your attention to meme coins, which everyone is currently talking about and discussing at this moment. And many guys who evaluate the market from a fundamental point of view, especially those who came from the stock market to the crypto market, are trying to understand why the hell some incomprehensible memes are flying up. And this applies not only to Pepe, but Doggy has resumed its movement, and Flocky, and here I gave you a second coin. Flocky is a token that also messes up. Guys, you have to understand that the cryptocurrency market is somewhat different, and here, to a smaller degree, in my opinion, it is logical to consider fundamentals. It makes much more sense to look at the psychology of the market, at marketing, and at narratives. What's the deal with narratives? This is a pointless word that is often used in the crypto market, but in reality, it has an important meaning. What is a narrative? A narrative is simply a specific behavior pattern in the market. So when something happens, it takes on a certain form and people begin to repeat it over and over again, in a cycle or a repetitive pattern. And, we are presently in the era of meme coins to a certain extent because everyone in the market is tired of being sold some fundamental projects with cool technologies that went down the drain in the previous cycle of cryptocurrency investments. Meme coins don't sell you anything. It's just a social thing. We all know memes. We all get that. It's just a picture. There's nothing to it. Tokens are spread throughout the community and just took off. So here's the thing. When it comes to meme coins, I ain't even going to give you any entry points or whatever. It's just absolute nonsense. Regarding meme coins, you got to understand that in order to make money with meme coins, you only need two things. You know what? First and foremost, it's about faith, which means you have to truly believe in it. The second thing is adhering to risk management, because if you believe and you're simply detached, thinking that Pepe will be worth $1 trillion, then it is highly probable that you will lose money on it. Any coin, like meme coin, is high risk. Follow risk management, and at a distance, you'll definitely get better results than if you sprinkle your expectations of getting 10,000 X's into every picture. Maybe it'll bring someone luck, but most likely it won't be you. Unfortunately, math is just the way probability theory works, so think with your head. Okay, what's the final thing I have here? I had a couple more thoughts. Okay, to the next review. Optimism. I mentioned this coin in one of my reviews, gentlemen. It is pretty decent. And overall, at this moment as well, if we do not consider this story, this candle, we are currently at historical highs. In terms of levels, optimism, a pretty good structure is emerging. As long as we're above zone 3, 7, 3, and 8, we're doing pretty good. So this support is crucial for us. And 8, everything is pretty satisfactory for us. So we're considering this support. It's of great importance to us. While we're above this support, we're specifically looking at the long side. If we go lower, then accordingly the $4 zone is a long zone, and further the $3.70, 3.8 zone is also a long level. Again, high risk, guys. The potential of the coin is unexplored. So make sure to practice risk management everywhere, and then everything will be fine for you. All my dear ones. Took a while today. It's fine. No worries. BTW, if you don't mind long reviews, I used to make them 5 mins before, but now they're 15, 20 mins. LMK, if that's okay, so I know what's up. If they bother you, let me know. That's all you need to know for today to maximize your profit. Subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss the latest episodes. And of course, guys, like I said, your likes, your comments, that's the most important thing for me. So don't be lazy. Make sure to throw in a like. Write in the comments what you liked, what you didn't like, what was useful, what wasn't useful. For me, this is always very important. It hits me right in the heart, motivates me to shoot and share beautiful information with you. So let's go. Hey, y'all, wishing you all a lot of profit, a fantastic week. Bye-bye.